amigos. Welcome one, welcome all. It's time for another exciting edition of, you guessed it, the show with no name on Vaughn Radio. Now buckle up, because it's time for liftoff.
10, 9, 8,
Let's
7,
go.
6,
Blast
5,
off with me,
4,
folks.
3, 2,
We're going to some
1,
exciting
0.
places.
Ignition.
Here we go.
Liftoff.
Come on.
Liftoff. 30 minutes.
Get on board.
Get ready. Hold on to your hat. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hat. Get ready for the ride of your life. The show with no name.
All aboard.
On Vaughn Radio. It's the show with no name.
Come on. Let's go, go. Welcome. That's for you, show with no namers. Thank you for learning, laughing, and playing with us day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. And yes, we're going on decade after decade. It is both an honor and a pleasure to be with you folks for the next 2 hours. I know you were in good hands this morning with Rob Grams in the Pro Bow Show and Fitz, both awesome friends of mine, Fitz and Rob Grams, and you can learn English with them every morning right before this show. And right after this show, you've got Speak English with Confidence with Ale, an amazing program where you'll learn to do just that, to speak English with confidence. Isn't that what we're all looking for? So welcome, amigos, welcome. We are going to play, we're going to learn, we're going to laugh, we're going to do everything we come to do on a daily basis. De forma diaria, on a daily basis. Also, as your social planner, just a quick reminder, we've got some exciting plans. In fact, 26 de marzo, what's today's date? I don't even know. Oh, yeah, okay. Awesome. Well, you still have time if you want to go to Richard Vaughn's Meet and Greet. A meet and greet is, bueno, donde hablas, conoces, right? It's an amazing time where you can get an awesome workshop with Richard Vaughn. You can get it for free, as you know. And that's the 26th of March at 7 p.m. That's right. The 26th of March at 7 p.m. It's a meet and greet, and it's at Biblioteca Municipal Eugenio Trias. And Richard Vaughn will be there with his book, Richard Vaughan, or Richard Vaughn, as we call him, De Texas a España, his autobiography. And it's a free event, as I said, so just make sure you get there early. This way you get a good spot. And as with any time Richard Vaughn does something, you're going to learn. You're going to learn because, you know, even as his friend, having lunch with him, it's fascinating. He's a fascinating individual. He's got a lot of stuff to offer, and he's always willing to share that knowledge. Well, not everybody is, right? Some people have that knowledge, esa sabiduría, no es knowledge, sino knowledge, and they want to keep it all to themselves. Not Richard Vaughn. In fact, that's why he started Vaughn Systems over 40 years ago, because he said, I've got a way to teach people English, and I'm not going to keep it a secret. I'm going to let the world know. So join him. It's the 26th of March. It's at 7 p.m. This is the year 2026, just in case this is a repeat. And it's at 7 p.m. It's at Biblioteca Municipal Eugenio Trias, which is in the beautiful Retiro Park. Great time to go to the park, springtime, and you can meet Richard Vaughn. Also, mark your calendars for April 7th. April 7th at 8 p.m., you've got another date. I don't say appointment. Appointment sounds too formal. Sounds like something you have with the doctor. It's Jules Linares, and she'll be hosting our upcoming Vaughn Radio Trivia Night, April 7th at 8 p.m., and that's going to take place at the Toast Tap Room. It's located in Malasaña. So don't miss it. If you can make it to both events, do it. If you can only make it to one, well, hey, do whatever you can. And if you don't live in Madrid, well, I'm sorry. Yeah, a lot of people say, why don't you have more events in Valencia? Why don't you? Let me just explain something. I don't make any decisions. My decisions are on what I'm going to teach you. The script, el guión, la música, those are my decisions. But any important decisions, I don't get paid to make those. But yeah, because people say, oh, Alberto, the new timetable, I don't know, it's not. I'm like, os enseño la expresión, you're barking up the wrong tree. Lo estás tomando con la persona equivocada. For me, actually, I'm very happy about the new timetable because that's wonderful. We're going to be at prime time. We're going to be in rush hour, the show with no name. But I understand how some people say, oh, well, I used to listen at 10:30, and that's the good news. You can still listen at 10:30 because you can get all of our shows on your favorite podcast platform. So, hey, I'd love to have events in Valencia and Vigo and Bilbao, Valladolid, all the amazing places where we have offices. But again, I am not a decision maker, thankfully. Y mira, me gusta eso because then, I can direct everybody to somebody else. Hey, don't talk to me, talk to them. Whoever makes those decisions, obviously, it'll depend on what we're talking about. But also stay tuned because the book fair is not too far away. As you guys know, Feria del Libro is one of our favorite times of year. It's a very magical time of year. That's right. It's a time where we get to chill, estar de tranquis with you guys in an amazing setting called the Retiro Park. So many cool things going on now that spring has sprung. All right, let's rock and roll with our first challenge of the day. It's the Say What soundbite. Say what? That's right, folks. Your Say What soundbite here on the show with no name. The Say What soundbite is a part of the show where you get to tell us your opinion. And speaking of opinions, many of you have participated already, but if you'd like to participate in our weekly speaking section called Question of the Week, we're going to be doing it this Wednesday. Okay, so Wednesday, you got to send it to me before the end of the day on Tuesday. And this week's question is, do you believe in soulmates, medias naranjas, almas gemelas? Do you believe in soulmates? And as always, explain your answer. I'll give a special shout out to Alberto, Alfonso, and Anix. They've already participated, so we're going to be hearing from them on Wednesday's show. It's a question of the week. It is our weekly speaking section. And if you're not participating, I guess you don't need to practice your speaking. You've got it all under control. Congratulations. That's awesome. Qué bien. Most students I know, well, they could use a little speaking practice. Que pueden usar? No, les vendría bien. Right? If we say the structure, I could use a glass of water. Me vendría bien un vaso de agua. And I think all my students could use a little more speaking practice. So take advantage of this golden opportunity to practice your speaking and get feedback from your teacher, right? One of my students calls me Teach. A shout out to Tamra. Teach is like saying profe. What's up, Teach? ¿Lo sabíais? Yeah. Well, you can say teacher, but also you can say teach. Hey, Teach, what are we doing today? I love to teach you guys that totally native stuff, that stuff that either you know it or you don't. And if you don't know it, you're not in the club, you know? It's like I always say, I was always taught, mi hermano trabaja todos los días. Pues en España yo nunca oigo la gente decir trabajar, oigo currar. Mi hermano curra todos los días. Es un curro, right? You don't use the word trabajar. I know it's a real word. But one thing is what the book says, and one thing is what the people on the street are saying. And that's the modern vernacular. That's the way people express themselves, right? Everybody tries not to sound modern, but to try and use the vocabulary that the rest of society is using. So I like to give you guys a little peek, una ojeada, I think you say, a quick look at this kind of vocabulary. So hopefully you guys can incorporate it into your vocabulary. In fact, I remember in my classes when I started teaching, I banned the expression, fine, thanks, and you? I was like, I'm not going to listen to that again. Why? Well, A, it sounds robotic when you say, fine, thanks, and you? Great. You got to tell me something else when I say, how are you? How's it going? What's up? Right? So that was a good way to get my students to stop saying things automatically and find different ways to express that. Oh, can't complain. All good. No, thanks for asking. How about you? Right? The other ways of expressing the same thing, because we don't want to get caught in this kind of robotic speak. In fact, one of the goals of speaking another language well is that your personality comes through. And that's another thing that we do with our question of the week. Many of the students who participate regularly, it's awesome. We can hear your personality. You make us laugh. You make us smile. That's a wonderful sign, regardless of the fact if, maybe you might make a mistake or two, or I've got to say, oh, cuidado, esto se pronuncia así, no así. But it doesn't matter. Your personality is coming out. The fear has been overtaken, right? You've overcome that fear. Has pasado ese punto de tener miedo al idioma. Decir, bueno, me voy a expresar y voy a intentar ser yo. Y ojo, es lo más difícil. I'm telling you, as somebody who's been speaking Spanish for, 46 years, ¿no? Desde los 2 años empezamos a hablar. So I've been exposed to and speaking Spanish my whole life, but it took me a long time, and still I'm lacking in the personality area in Spanish, because in Spanish I have to think more, even though it doesn't look like I do, a little bit more. In English, I don't have to think. It's, I don't have to think, how am I going to be funny, or how am I going to say something witty, right? Witty is, how do you say witty? Witty is gracioso, pero ingenuo. Let's take a look here. Witty, ingenioso, ocurrente, ¿no? Que es pertinente no es solo gracioso, pero es pertinente y en el momento adecuado. And that, you know how hard it is to be witty in another language? Oh, it's hard enough to be witty in your own language. Think about that. How many people do you know who you're like, este tío siempre, vaya comentarios más ocurrentes, ingeniosos. So it's kind of a mix of smart and funny, right? It's smartly funny. De hecho, aquí pone smartly funny. O sea, siendo gracioso, pero también además se nota que está pensado, que no es solo un comentario random, sino viene basado en lo que se está hablando, en la actualidad, right? So that's a really hard thing. But hey, like everything, if you participate every week, you're going to definitely improve that, and we'll start seeing the real you come out. So, hey, I'm giving you my advice as a language learner here, not as a language teacher, okay? Because the best thing about my situation, I think, as a teacher is I've been in your shoes. I am in your shoes. Estoy en tu piel. Estoy en tu situación. So I know the things that the pros, the cons, the things that are harder, the things that are easier, the things that don't make sense. But again, things don't have to make sense, do they? We're not talking about mathematics here. Esto no es matemática. 2 más 2 es 4. Language is art. It's poetry. It's right. Language. I love when my students say, Alberto, but why? I don't know. Somebody decided we say it this way and not that way. ¿Qué quieres que te diga? I mean, sometimes there isn't an explanation because John Jingleheimer Schmidt decided in the year 1300 that that's the way we were going to say that word. So there's not always like a logic behind it. We can always find ways to apply logic to the language, but really language in and of itself, en sí mismo, is not a logical thing, right? ¿Por qué decimos caca en vez de vaca? ¿Por qué decimos paca? ¿Por qué no es paca en vez de vaca? Right? Again, so these are all things that I could tell you. I could make up a story if you want, pero alguien decidió que este objeto se llamaba así y todo el resto se pusieron de acuerdo y ahí está, right? So these things that sometimes can be frustrating, I know them. I feel them. I've been there, and don't worry about it. It's all part of the process. As we say, it's par. A ver si te sabes el resto de la expresión. It's par for the course. Very good. It's par for the course. Es lo que tiene. All right, everybody, our Say What soundbite. This is going to be really tricky. In fact, recently, we've been looking at some really tricky Say What sound bites. I've got to be honest. But hey, I always say this too. The harder it is here, the easier it's going to be to understand people out there in the real world. So pay attention. Let's see what you can gather from this. To gather es captar, recolectar también. We'll see what you can gather from this. As always, you're going to hear it 4 times. You'll have 4 chances to jot it all down. But at first, I just want you to tell me what you heard in your best English. And even if you're not here in the group participating, everybody should participate, right? If you're, si estás ahora en tu casa escuchándolo por la noche en el podcast, eso es un momento, well, I heard somebody, You don't have to write it down, say it aloud, ¿no? Aunque no te voy a oír, pero al menos ahí estás practicando resumir información en inglés y transmitirlo a otra persona and relaying that information to other people, which is a life skill, right? Es algo que tenemos que saber hacer en esta vida en nuestro propio idioma. Entonces, ¿cómo no? En otro idioma también, si vamos a hablar en ese idioma. All right, so here we go, folks. Here's your Say What soundbite for the first time. Good luck. Insert evil laugh here.
Gentlemen, find your favorite chair because I've got the popcorn. And I've got the cocktail wieners.
Listen carefully. Can you hear that? No. Listen closer. I'm not talking about the birds chirping. I'm talking about everybody speaking English and feeling comfortable. Listen. This is what it's like at Vaughntown, a peaceful place where you can really learn English and lose your inhibitions. There's a reason it's one of our star programs. Vaughntown, lose your fear of speaking English. If you want more information about this immersive experience, go to grupovon.com or give us a call, 911-385831. Lose your fear of speaking English and express yourself with clarity at Vaughntown. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Yeah. That's right, folks. This is your pop quiz. As always, this is an opportunity for us to look at different materials from all the different resources we have available at Vaughn Tienda. Again, our website, grupovaughn.com. You can find our bookshop there. You can also pick up all our materials, que voy a decir, wherever fine books are sold. All right, well, today we're going to take a look at a fine book. I'm not just saying it because I wrote it, but also it's not just a book that's going to teach you vocabulary, expressions, and little hacks, truquitos, but it also is a reflection of the way I like to learn. Now, I like to travel. I think most people do. And one of the best ways to learn is using the five senses, right? Los cinco sentidos. Looking at the signs, tasting the food, right? Asking questions. And it's a really good way to, make the world your classroom, right? And how do you learn? Well, traveling, just even if you don't, pay attention when you're traveling and you're just, hanging out, you're experiencing something different. But if you're paying attention and you've got your radar on, scaneando, you're going to learn so much. And as I said, from tasting different foods, listening to different music, reading the signs and menus, you can learn anywhere. You do not need a classroom to learn, as I always say. So this is what this book is about. That's the approach. Vimos esa palabra la semana pasada. El enfoque. English on the go. Aprende inglés viajando por el mundo. I take you to 30 cities and we learn English on the go. Pay attention because I will have some questions for you later on.
We have to stop and refuel or we're going to run out of gas. I'm glad we found this gas station. Otherwise, we would have been stranded. We were running on fumes, and we're probably lucky that the last part of the road was downhill. We really coasted down that last hill. En Inglaterra no dicen gas, sino petrol. Y su versión de gas station es petrol station. Siempre puedes decir, where's the Shell or Exxon station? La mayoría de la gente conoce estas marcas. To coast significa mover sin esfuerzo. Por eso las roller coasters, montañas rusas, se llaman así. Roller indica rodar. Y a partir de la primera bajada, lo que hacen es rolling y coasting. You'll hear this at the pump. ¿Va a pagar en efectivo o con tarjeta?
Are you going to pay in cash or by card?
¿Quieres sin plomo?
Do you want unleaded?
¿Podría dar marcha atrás un poco?
Could you back up a bit?
Por favor, apaga el coche.
Please, turn off the car.
El total es de $35.48.
That comes to $35.48.
You'll say this at the pump. Llena el depósito.
Fill it up. Fill up the gas tank.
$20 de sin plomo.
$20 worth of unleaded.
¿Tienen servicios?
Do you have a restroom?
No me gusta el autoservicio porque tengo que echarme la gasolina.
I don't like self-service because I have to pump my own gas.
Siempre derramo gasolina cuando cojo la manguera.
I always spill gas when I grab the gas pump.
Lead es plomo y se pronuncia lead. Pero esta palabra puede ser confusa porque también se pronuncia lead, aunque en este caso lead significaría liderar. Por eso Led Zeppelin, Zeppelin de plomo, optó por escribir la palabra lead como suena, para que la gente no lo confundiera y dijera Led Zeppelin. Gas idioms. Pisa fuerte.
Step on the gas.
Eres la leche.
You're a gas.
Nos lo pasamos genial anoche.
We had a gas last night.
Estuvimos chismorreando toda la mañana.
We've been gassing all morning.
¿Te has tirado un pedo?
Did you pass gas?
Este coche chupa gasolina.
This car is a gas guzzler.
Voy a echarle sopa al coche.
I'm going to gas up.
Se quedó sin energía o fuerzas antes del final de la carrera.
He ran out of gas before the end of the race.
Ahora sí que lo estás haciendo genial.
Now you're cooking with gas.
No le eches leña al fuego.
Don't pour gas on the fire.
All right, amigos, there you go. Tons of great vocabulary. We'll take a look at that and much more after this quick commercial break. So stick around. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. This is part 2 of today's show with no name here on Vaughn Radio. Don't forget to download the free Vaughn Radio app, and you can listen to all our programs. And they all have their own outlook, right? All the teachers, even though we all use the Vaughn method, we all have our own outlook, perspectiva. You know? So you'll get different experiences from different people. That's the beauty of life, isn't it? That's why it's good to have friends of all kinds, from all walks of life. You say condiciones sociales. Yeah, well, that's what traveling is, right? In the end, seeing people that aren't like you or don't do the same things you do. It opens your eyes and it opens your mind at the same time. All right, let's see what I want from you guys here in today's pop quiz. The first one, I want you to use the phrasal verb quedarse sin o agotar algo. Now, I can think of it, your phone, right? Your battery, paciencia, se me está agotando, me estoy quedando sin paciencia, gasolina en este caso. All right, so that's the first one. Quedarse sin algo, agotar algo. It's a phrasal verb. We heard it there. Number 2, I used another word to say that you're stuck in a certain place. You're unable to leave. You say varado o tirado. Nos quedamos sin gasolina. You can even use them together. Y nos quedamos tirados en medio de la carretera. All right, so the second word is varado. También pone encallado, embarrancado. Bueno, pone en español de la península tirado, ¿no? El coche me dejó tirado. Estamos tirados aquí. All right, that is number 2. Oh, and it's not thrown. Okay, no es ese tirados. And the third one, you could say that costs, but there's another way to say el total es. Bueno, dos formas. Yo apunté dos aquí. Dos formas de decir el total es tanto. You can make up the price you want. So those are your 3 challenges from today's pop quiz. Again, they're coming from English on the go. Aprende inglés viajando por el mundo. The first one, very common phrasal verb, quedarse sin barra agotar. Number 2, varado barra tirado. And the third one, el total es, right? So if somebody's charging you in a gas station, in a restaurant, pues, o en una tienda, maybe you're going clothes shopping por ropa, pues ahí lo tienes. El total será o es tal, es tanto, okay? And you can make up the price you want there. I'm more interested in if you know different ways to say it costs, but it's different than it costs because it's me debes tal, no? El total es. You can say the total is, pero no es tan natural como las que te estoy pidiendo yo. We'll see if you guys know them, and we'll take a look at those in just a moment. But right now, let me give you your Say What soundbite. I'm going to give it to you here for the second time. And as I said, it's a tough one today because obviously they are cartoon voices, right? And, well, one of them, yeah, it's hard. I get it. I know which one is the hardest, too. It's that second voice. And I think you all know who that is. I mean, it's probably one of the most famous cartoon characters in the world. All right, here's your Say What soundbite for the second time.
Gentlemen, find your favorite chair because I've got the popcorn.
And I've got the cocktail wieners.
Hey, Damian, what's crack-a-lackin', buddy?
Hey, Alberto, I was planning to do some sports this week. What about playing baseball?
Ooh, baseball. I love it. But I'm not sure yet. Can we touch base next week?
Touch base. Estamos en contacto, ¿no? Hablamos en algún momento. Yeah, okay. Let's touch base. Okay, what about basketball? Do you want to play basketball?
Oh, man, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite sports. But I don't know if I can this weekend because I've already got plans. Oh, man, that's the way the ball bounces.
That's the way the ball bounces. Así están las cosas, ¿no? Así bota la pelota. Así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. I love that expression. Okay, what about tennis? Do you want to play tennis?
Well, I love tennis, but I'm not really a good player. If you don't mind playing with a novice, the ball's in your court, buddy.
La bola está en mi campo, ¿eh? La pelota está en mi tejado. All right. Do you want to play some soccer?
Sure, I'd love to play some soccer or football, as you call it. What time do we kick off?
Perfect. We're kicking off at 9. Are you available?
Sure, but I might have to play some golf before with some friends. It's par for the course.
It's par for the course. Es lo normal, ¿no? Es lo normalito, lo que se hace.
Mhm.
Okay, what about billiards? Do you like playing billiards?
Yeah, but right now I'm behind the 8 ball.
I'm behind the 8 ball. Estás detrás de la bola 8, como que llevas las de perder.
Yeah, wow, a lot of idiomatic expressions here.
Muy buenas expresiones. Si es que así da gusto aprender inglés con un profe como Alberto y un poquito de creatividad, tienes This Book is the Shit. El mejor libro para aprender inglés que te has echado a la cara in your life. Píllatelo, vas a disfrutar mogollón de dibujos para que lo aprendas todo fácil, con conexiones lógicas y divertidas. Es la manera más sencilla y más divertida de aprender inglés. No te la pierdas.
Damian, you're such a good sport. Te enrollas. You can pick up your copy of This Book is the Shit at
Vaughantienda.com.
It's the shit. That's right, folks. VaughanTienda.com. You can pick up everything. Go to our website, grupovon.com, and you've got tons of materials to choose from. You've got our translation booklet. You've also got phrasal verbs. You've got listening. I mean, it depends on what you're looking for, but we've got you covered. Maybe you just need to go over the basic grammar structures. Maybe you just want to have some fun as you learn new vocabulary. Either way, you can't go wrong. No tiene fallo. All right, well, today we're taking a look at English on the go. Aprende inglés viajando por el mundo. This is, again, a book that I wrote, I would say now, well, it was before my daughter was born. And so I would say I wrote this book... maybe like almost 10 years. Oh my God, really? So that means my first book is a teenager now. Oh my God, I feel old. Anybody else feel old sometimes when you're like, oh yeah, that song came out 10 years ago. And then you see a post on social media that says, oh, this album was released 30 years ago today. And you're like, Britney Spears, 30 years ago? Are we crazy? Am I like, oh my God, it looks like I'm going to have to go to a nursing home. Una residencia de mayores. Oh my goodness, time really does fly. That's why we have to make the most of it. Well, either way, English on the Go is a book where I take you to 30 different cities. That's right, 30 cities, English-speaking cities. And in each chapter, we take a look at the history of that city, and we learn some English with the history, some fun facts. We also take a look at some food, of course. In fact, the section is called Dig In, a comer, no? We also look at the local lingo, because they don't speak the same in Liverpool as they do in Los Angeles, California, for example. Then we take a look at famous people from the region. Again, all of these are, well, ways to look at different vocabulary. Vocabulary about people, vocabulary about businesses. In fact, there's a section called In Good Company, right? We look at the sports. We look at movies that were set there, and much more. And then in each one, we do an activity. So when we go to Arizona, what do we do there? We go to the Grand Canyon, right? When we go to Los Angeles, well, we go to a movie set, right? In fact, let's take a look. Let's look at one of these. We're in New Orleans right now, an amazing city. New Orleans, if you ever get the chance to go to New Orleans, do yourself a favor, go. It is, oh man, it's a magical place. There's no doubt about it. All right, let's take a look. So we're going to the Mardi Gras parade. All right, this is just a little warm up. We're going to the Mardi Gras parade, which is Fat Tuesday, right? Mardi Gras como grasa, and Mardi is martes. So the Mardi Gras parade, it's one of the most famous days of the Carnival, as you call it. And it's like the streets of New Orleans are just packed with people. I mean, it's like, it reminds me of the Feria de Abril in Sevilla. People plan all year, right? They plan all year for the parade, for what they're going to wear, for the balls, las galas que tienen. It is a big deal. Es una gran cosa. All right, so let's see. Let's go to the Mardi Gras parade and see if you know some of this vocabulary. Él va a su bola. I love this one in Spanish. This is my daughter. Bueno, lo coge de mí, ¿eh? Nosotros vamos a nuestro bola. He goes to his ball? No. Eso es él va a su gala. Bueno, ya que estábamos mirando la palabra gala. He marches to the beat of his own drum. Si es ella, she marches to the beat of her own drum. Desfila al ritmo de su propio tambor o batería. He marches. Do you march to the beat of your own drum? I do. All right, the next one. Él siempre está pavoneando, chuleando en su descapotable. He's always parading around. Piénsalo, como si estuviera en un desfile. Right? You can also say showing off. ¿Os suena esa? De fanorrea. I never know how to say that word in Spanish. Hay algunas palabras como que no. Chulear. I like that one. He's always parading around in his convertible. Yeah, descapotable, we say convertible. Okay, no quiero amargarte la fiesta. O aguarte la fiesta. You say aguar, right? No quiero amargarte la fiesta. I don't want to rain on your parade. I don't want to rain on your parade. As you can see, all these expressions have something to do with a parade. All right, let's see. Vamos a ir de bar en bar. It's very common on Bourbon Street. You say Bourbon, we say Bourbon. We are going to go bar hopping. Eso es. We're going to go bar hopping. To hop es saltar. A frog or a bunny hops. Hop es un saltito. O sea, vas de bar en bar. Bar hopping, we call it. Los ingleses lo llaman a pub crawl. O sea, gatear de pub en pub. I think there's a reason, because they overdo it in the first pub. Se pasan 3 pueblos en el primer pub. But we say bar hopping. Okay. How would you say invito yo a esta ronda de chupitos? This round of shots is on me. We don't say I invite. This round of shots is on me. Okay? Or it's my shout. Esa lo usan los británicos bastante. It's my shout, mi grito. Okay? What about this one? Estoy con el puntito. This doesn't mean you're drunk, but it means you're starting to feel lightheaded and goofy. Okay? I'm a bit tipsy. To tip es volcar. O sea que me pueden volcar fácilmente. Y hay una canción, Everybody in the club get tipsy. Everybody in the club get tipsy. I don't remember the artist's name, pero búscate la canción Get Tipsy. Lo dice 80,000 millones de veces en la canción. So, con escuchar la canción una vez, se te queda. No es estar borrachuzo. To be tipsy is like con el puntito, like, se me ha subido a la cabeza un poco eso. All right? That's not the same as being shit-faced. To be shit, cara de mierda, ¿qué? Yeah, well, to be shit-faced means you're really drunk. To be hammered. All right, let's try another one. ¿Hasta cuándo se puede pedir la última o la penúltima, as you say? When is, lo contraemos para un inglés más natural. When's last call? When is or when's last call? Última llamada, we say. Well, piensa en un aeropuerto, es así también. Last call for flight 174. Es la última llamada. Pues decimos lo mismo, right? So when's last call? Last call is at 2 a.m. A las 2 de la mañana, por ejemplo. I remember when I worked in pubs, I used to say, okay, guys, last call. O sea, si quieres pedir la última, la penúltima, as you say, do it now. And then after about a half an hour, because you got to give them time to finish it. So normally it's about a half an hour before you have to kick everybody out. And I always used to say the same thing. People are like, oh, we have to leave. I'm like, well, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Siempre decía yo esa frase. No te voy a forzar que vayas a casa, pero aquí no te puedes quedar ya. So last call. And how would we say that, ya que estamos con la penúltima? We don't say the second to last, aunque si hablas, mi nombre es la penúltima en la lista, sí. Se puede decir penultimate, pero yo nunca lo uso. Yo uso second to last. One for the road. Nosotros en la última para la carretera. No? One for the road. Okay? So just some vocabulary that you'll need if you go down to New Orleans and you go to one of these parades. In fact, I remember when my wife and I were down there, it was the middle of the day, right? I think it was like 2 p.m. And there was a band with saxophones, tubas, trumpets, and drums, and and people dancing everywhere and dressed up. And I said to somebody on the street, I go, what's the occasion? It's not Mardi Gras. It's just any given Tuesday. Any given is uno cualquiera. I said, it's any given Tuesday. What the hell was everybody dancing for? And you're never going to believe the answer. The guy said, oh, it's a funeral. And I said, wow, I'd hate to see a wedding here. O sea, si esto es un funeral, imagínate una boda. And again, the idiomatic expression that they use, y lo dicen en francés y en inglés, para que veas que es su filosofía ahí. Their motto is, let the good times roll. Que siga el buen rollo, que no pare, right? Let the good times roll. And the moment you go to that city and you experience it with the 5 senses, you'll know that that's exactly their philosophy. Let the good times roll. Que siga el buen rollo, que no pare la fiesta o el buen momento. All right, so this is all from English on the Go. Again, I take you to 30 cities, and I think it's a fun book because, well, you learn about different places at the same time. Richard Vaughan said it in the foreword. His last line is, English on the Go, a good title for a really good book. I've never seen a book which fuses so well English learning with the joy of travel. So there you go. That's Richard Vaughan's opinion on this book. As always, it comes with audio. We just heard some of that audio now. A couple things I wanted to point out as well from the book. We already said the British say petrol station. So they say petrol. I need some petrol. We say gas. Gas station versus petrol station. We looked at the word to coast. To coast, too, is vaguear. No, moverse sin esfuerzo. Piensa en todos los significados eso. He just coasted through high school. Hizo el mínimo esfuerzo. Otra vez, porque a roller coaster, pues, va rodando por las vías, and it coasts. O sea, after the first hill, it's going on momentum, inercia. It's coasting, okay? Also, I want to pay in cash or by card. Yeah, they're different. It's not by cash or it's not in card. So by card or in cash. We looked at unleaded. Unleaded is the gasoline that's used. I think it's the most common one, at least in the United States. Here, I know when I moved here, I don't know if that's true now, there were a lot of people using diesel. You say diesel, right? We say diesel. And yeah, you can taste it in the air. O sea, el diesel tiene un sabor muy, muy específico en el aire. Also, some students I've noticed throughout the years make a mistake with full versus fill. Fill it up, rellénalo. It's full, está lleno. So fill is el verbo. Could you fill up my glass? Could you fill up the gas tank? Right? Fill up. Y ya cuando lo llenan, it's full. So full es el adjetivo, mientras que fill es llenar. Lleno versus llenar. Okay? Careful, because as I said, I've heard people say full it. No. Fill it or fill it up. And once you do that, it's full. El inverso, empty. Empty. Otra que hemos visto, lo vemos aquí, put the pedal to the metal, step on the gas, o simplemente step on it. Step on it. Písalo. Písalo fuerte. Step on it. Also, we looked at many expressions with the word gas. If somebody is a gas, es la leche. In fact, do you know the song Money by Pink Floyd? Money, it's a gas. Grab that cash with both hands and make a stash. It's a gas. Oh, you're a gas. No, eres la leche. Me lo paso bien. We had a gas last night, which is not the same as to pass gas. To pass gas means to fart. That's right. To pass gas. And I told you guys the rhyming expressions. Mi hija se las sabe todas. Whoever smelt it, dealt it. El que lo olió, lo repartió. O sea, el que abajo lo tiene, you say something like that. But then we also have one, si uno te viene con la rima, whoever did the rhyme, did the crime. Siempre me gana con esa, porque yo digo, she said, Daddy, did you fart? Did you pass gas? I know, TMI, too much information. Well, I teach you real English, guys. That's what I do. That's my claim to fame. And the other one is, no, I didn't. Whoever denied it, supplied it. O sea, que hay tres rimas ahí. So the first one is whoever smelt it, dealt it. Whoever denied it, supplied it. Y si haces la rima, pues también caes en la trampa, because whoever did the rhyme, did the crime. Y mi hija siempre me pilla con esas. All the time. Constantly. And also we've got, these days people are worried about fuel economy, right? You don't want a car that you have to fill the gas tank every 2 days. And what did we call that? Do you remember the name? A gas guzzler. I remember my grandparents used to have Cadillacs. Yeah, beautiful car. But man, that thing would guzzle gas. And to guzzle is, piénsalo, es tragar a lo bestia. So a gas guzzler, which, now, in fact, when they sell a car in the United States, one of the specs, las especificaciones are gas mileage. How much per gallon, right? How many miles to a gallon? Vosotros hacéis litros, nosotros hacemos galones de gasolina. Right? So these are all things that, you'll know if you've done a road trip anywhere in the United States. And if you haven't done a road trip in the United States, put it on your bucket list. Ponlo en tu lista de cosas a hacer antes de palmarla. Why do we call it a bucket list? Well, another way to say palmarla is to kick the bucket. Yeah. Que siempre me ha parecido rarísimo, porque if you're being hung, right, at a gallows es donde ahorcaban la gente, well, normally it's the executioner that kicks the bucket, ¿no? Es el verdugo que da, y luego you hang, and that's it. Goodbye. Curtains. But for some reason, we say to kick the bucket. Aunque realmente para mí, lo entiendo, pero no eres tú que lo haces, es otra persona. Pues no tiene sentido, lo has hecho tú mismo, right? I guess it makes sense. as we say too, make it make sense, right? It doesn't have to make sense. It's got to make sense to you in your head to kick the bucket. Oh my God, folks, I can't believe it. We have to take a quick commercial break. Time is just flying by here. When we come back, we'll take a look. I see we've got some comments here. There's Chris Valrol checking in with us. She's participating in our Say What soundbite, also in the pop quiz. Well, when we come back, we'll take a look at some homophones. We've got our Say What soundbite for the third time. Also, today we're looking at wacky world records. We've got our spelling bee. We've got birthdays, movies, music, double trouble, and so much more up ahead. So when we come back, we are going to step on it. Folks, you know how this works. We'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Eso es un plis plas. In 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. So, if I were you, I wouldn't even think of going anywhere. Stick around. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. This is the second half of today's show with no name here on Vaughn Radio. Thank you so much for joining us every day and learning English with a little bit of oomph. Un poco de energía, un poco de ganas. I believe you can always put a little oomph into everything. Also, I love saying that word, oomph. And nobody knows that better than Dave Boys, the host of The Salad. You've got Dave Boys every afternoon here on Vaughn Radio. You've also got Rob Grams in the Lunchtime Show. You've got Speak English with Ruby. Don't forget about Let's Get Random with Jules Linares. You've got the Hour to Empower with Jessica Fernandez as well. And you can get all of these programs on the Vaughn Radio app. You can also get them on your favorite podcast platform. Whatever works best for you. I know myself, I am a podcast addict. Un adicto. I'm addicted to podcasts. It's the only content I consume. Acordaos, si vamos a decir addicted, va con to. Si vamos a usar hooked, es on. Y lo tienes en canciones. You might as well face it, you're addicted to love. I'm hooked on a feeling. No es hooked on, es hooked on. No es hooked on, sino hooked on. Fíjate lo que hago con ese sonido T, lo uno al on. I'm hooked on a feeling. Yeah, I'm high on believing. English with oomph. All right, your first challenge of the second half of today's show is a section where we look at words that may or may not sound the same. I'll leave it in your hands. It's Homophones on the show with no name.
Homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, it's homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name.
That's right, my amigos. It's homophones only on the show with no name. All right, you should know this first word. I mean, it's a word that I think all my students know, and it's the word hacer, and it isn't make. O sea, okay. So si no es make, es ese hacer. Okay. El otro, hacer, que en inglés tenemos dos. En teoría, make es fabricar y el otro es llevar a cabo. Sin embargo, hay tantas excepciones que yo siempre digo, apréndelas como frases hechas. That's my best advice when it comes to make and All right, so there's your first word again. I think everybody knows it. It's also an auxiliary verb, ¿no? Es un auxiliar. En el presente, comes pan, you eat bread. Okay, so it's a word that everybody needs to not just be familiar with, but also how to pronounce it. And the second word is rocío o condensación. Rocío o condensación is the second word. So, si dices, ¿te gusta el rocío o la condensación? Pues el auxiliar de esa pregunta y la palabra rocío condensación, do they sound exactly the same? I just used it. Es que no puedes ir 5 segundos sin usar la palabra de o. Lo acabo de usar sin querer. Si quieres hacer una pregunta, tienes que ponerlo, right? So there you go. Number 1, hacer. Number 2, condensación, rocío. All right. Good luck, my amigos. And also, let me give you today's Say What soundbite. Here it is for the 3rd time.
Gentlemen, find your favorite chair because I've got the popcorn.
And I've got the cocktail wieners.
¿Te gustaría abrir puertas a nuevas oportunidades y estar listo para cualquier desafío? Con el máster de inglés del Grupo Vaughan podrás transformar tu futuro. Este programa intensivo te ayudará a dominar el inglés profesional, perfeccionar tu comunicación y ganar la confianza que necesitas para conseguir tus objetivos. Nuestros profesores Vaughan especializados te prepararán para afrontar en inglés todas las situaciones de comunicación en un entorno profesional. No dejes que el inglés sea una barrera. Invierte en tu futuro con el máster de inglés profesional del Grupo Vaughan. Llámanos al 91-133-5833 o entra en grupovaughan.com.
That's right, amigos. All right, let's go on over to our comments over here and see who's participating in your daily English class. All right, there's Chris Valrol checking in. Hello, Chris. Thank you so much for joining us. She says, morning, teach. Ah, me encanta ese teach ahí. Espera. El primer totally native del día y el primer comentario. So, awesome stuff there. So Chris says, morning, teach and mates. We'll see if they let me participate a little bit today. If they don't, they'll have to deal with me. No, es broma. I hope so too, Chris. In fact, it looks like you're the only one participating. You're not the only one with us, but you're the only one whose keyboard works. La única que te funciona el teclado. So great to have you with us, Chris. You are our leader, and I don't think anybody will debate that. So awesome stuff, Chris. Let's see. She's got something to say about our Say What soundbite. She says, I heard an excerpt from a cartoon. Correct. She says, a character tells the others to choose their favorite chair. Correct. She says, he's bringing the popcorn. Yes. And then she says, maybe they're going to watch a movie. No, they're definitely going to watch a movie. Good ear. Wow. O sea, yeah. You know what's going on. It's a good sign. Es buena señal. Sabes qué ocurre en este, right? So, and guys, that's 10 seconds. Ese audio es 10 segundos. O sea, o lo has captado o no. Chris, you got it. Let's see. She also says he calls them winners. No, he doesn't call them winners. Hemos visto estas palabras. Bueno, te ayudo. ¿Por qué no? A winner es un ganador. A wiener es un Frankfurt, una salchicha. También es lo que tengo aquí entre mis piernas. Okay, so the word there that the character said, I was going to say person, pero character mejor, is not winners, it's wieners. Hey, that sounds like something that you could have when you're watching a movie too. Popcorn, some wieners. Chris, maybe you're that much closer to figuring it out. But just so you guys know, those words are not homophones. Vamos a decir ambas. Winner. Vamos a rimarlo. Winner. Dinner. Sinner. No es winner, dinner, sinner. Winner. Dinner. No abrimos la boca muchísimo. No es winner. Right? No se ven los dientes. Winner, dinner, sinner. Right? Mucho menos exagerado que la I latina. Y wiener, ahora esa es más fácil, ¿no? Wiener. Cleaner. Cleaner, limpiador o algo que limpia. Cleaner. Right? Thinking of other words that sound the same. Well, wean sounds like lean, right? No soléis tener problema con esa palabra. De hecho, las veces que he oído a alguien llamarle a alguien una salchicha o una verga, cuando querían decir eres un ganador, que no es lo mismo, winner. If I tell you you're a winner, genial. If I tell you you're a wiener, eres un capullo. Okay, so, all right, good, Chris. We are on the right track, especially with that little adjustment there as well. Let's see, she's also participating in our pop quiz, and she says, we ran out of potatoes. Y acordaos, el out of, muchas veces, bueno, primero el of no suena a F, no es of, es of, y muchas veces es a. We ran out of potatoes. So el outa lo podríamos poner ahí perfectamente. Otra vez, aunque es en inglés escrito, no es informal. Pero yo las conversaciones que tengo no son muy formales. I'm not closing business deals with people. So get out of here, right? He's out of his mind. Outa is out of. So we ran out of potatoes. Excellent. We ran out. Nos hemos quedado sin patatas. All right, the next one. She says, the car, a lemon. Otro totally native, Chris. Totally native. And speaking of stranded, tirado, your classmates have left you stranded. Te han dejado tirada aquí, But I know you can handle it on your own. She says, the car, a lemon. A lemon es como decir, coche chatarra, no un coche de mierda. So let us, en vez de left us, nos dejó. Left us stranded in the middle of nowhere. Great. Ponemos una F, lo tenemos. So yes, the word is stranded. Man, we were stranded on the M30 until the tow truck came. Hasta que vino la grúa, tow truck. Otra palabra que no hay que saber esa palabra hasta que lo necesites, right? If you need to call a tow truck, we need the... ¿cómo se dice eso? Bueno, to tow es llevar en remolque. Es un homófono para dedo del pie, que es T-O-E, pero esta palabra, sin embargo, es T-O-W, tow truck. So great. And the last one, she says, the total amount is $30. Okay, it's correct, but it's not natural. The one I was looking for is that comes to, or that'll be, or that comes to es el total es, ¿no? La cantidad total es. So I'll give you the situation. You're at the cash register. You're paying. You just bought some clothes. Okay, has comprado ropa, and they're checking you out. Okay, that'll be $29.99, please. That'll be, or that comes to. Lo digo porque lo vas a oír en Estados Unidos. No one's going to say the total is. Okay, they'll say that comes to, or that'll be. But that's correct. Excellent job, Chris. All right, she's also participating in the homophones section, and she says, and I'm going to say they're homophones. Well, first things first, the words are correct. So step one, perfect. And what I'm going to do is, ves, acabo de usarlo. Es que no puedes ir 5 segundos sin usar la palabra do. Do you know what I mean? Okay. So do. This is, de hecho, ¿conocéis la marca Mountain Dew? Que lo lleva Pepsi, es un refresco, Mountain Dew. Well, their slogan, I don't know if it's still that way, but when I was a kid, it was do the do. Haz el do, ¿no? So do the do. Te estoy dando la expresión que han usado ellos de marketing. Do the do. Do they sound the same? Do they sound the same? Absolutely. Now, what if I say do-do? Do-do? What? Do-do. Bueno, esta se escribe D-O-O, D-O-O, o sea, es doble do. Eso es caca. Did you know that one? O sea, Scooby-Doo? Did Scooby-Doo do a do-do? Bueno, todos sabéis Scooby-Doo, no? Scooby-Doo. Well, Scooby-Doo did a do-do. Scooby-Doo ha hecho caquita. And those, all of them sound the same. So do, D-O, do, D-E-W, and do, que es dos juntos, es caca, right? D-O-O, D-O-O. So there you go. Yes. And where does the name Mountain Dew come from? Well, dices, qué bonito. Eso es un rocío de montaña, ¿no? Qué bonito, qué concepto más bonito. Pero también es licor ilegal, el que hacían en el pueblo, ¿no? ¿Por qué? Porque la condensación del alcohol de la montaña. So now, Mountain Dew doesn't have any alcohol in it, but the name was inspired by bootleg alcohol, ¿no? Alcohol destilada ilegalmente, vamos a decir. Otra forma de decirlo es moonshine. So Mountain Dew or moonshine are ways of saying this kind of home brewed, home distilled liquor. All right. So Chris knocking it out of the park. Yes. Do the do. Do the do. Excellent job. All right. Let's see. K Roller Girl says run out of, break down, comes out to. No sé, yo prefiero que lo uses en contexto, ¿no? Eso es la idea de esto, que no te cuesta mucho más, right? We ran out of. ¿Por qué? Porque quiero ver que sabes conjugar el run. Mucha gente dice, we run out of. No, we ran out of. We've run out of, right? Entonces, ahí sé que sabes el vocabulario, pero ahí no me enseñas que sabes usarlo. I'm going to give you an applause, of course. But I don't know if you know how to conjugate it. I just know that you can give me the word. So it's more practical for your own good, guys. Bueno, es más fácil para mí leer 3 palabras que una frase entera, pero a ti no te beneficia tanto como ponerlo en contexto. So to run out of is, como ha dicho Chris, quedarse sin. To break down is averiar. So that's not the same as varado, right? The car broke down, okay? And comes out to, sería it comes to. That comes to tanto dinero. So in the future, just give me a full sentence. Tampoco te estoy pidiendo mucho, es poner un sujeto y también, bueno, el complemento. Y lo tienes. Hecho, listo, calisto, as you say. All right, folks, we've got a lot to do, so we're going to keep moving on over here. Excellent job, Chris, in our homophone section. But right now, we are going to move on to Wacky World Records.
Wacky World Records. These are the wackiest records in the whole wide world.
All right, folks. Well, we are here to take a look at the wackiest world records. And today we're going to take a look at the largest ship. Eso es, nave. The largest ship. No sheep. Sheep is bah. So ship, right? Otro es que ese sonido es muy difícil, lo sé. Por eso me gusta destacarlo. No sheep, ship. Well, the largest ship ever built is the Sea-Wise Giant. No, solo el nombre te dice todo ahí. The Sea-Wise Giant. And it is an oil tanker, o sea, uno que mueve petróleo. And it measures its length, longitud, right? It is 458.45, o sea, casi y medio, meters long. So the length is, or you can use long como adjetivo, it's 458.45 meters long. Okay. Now, I should say it was because the ship was scrapped. To be scrapped, this lo usaron para chatarra. So I guess it was big, but it wasn't effective. Well, hey, that sounds like the Titanic, doesn't it? Now, currently, the largest operational ship is called the Prelude FLNG. And this one, are you ready for this one? How long is it, right? How long is it? Or what's its length? It is 488 meters long. Okay, that is the largest operational ship. The largest cruise ship, because they're designed very differently. A cruise ship is made to just, go around slowly, not too fast. And the bottoms are different. I don't know very much about shipbuilding, but it is fascinating. Well, the largest cruise ship at the time of this recording is the Icon. You say icono, we say icon. O sea, la I is I. Icon of the Seas, and it is 365 meters long with a capacity for 7,600 passengers. Okay, there are pueblos, villages that have fewer people than that. So there we go, my amigos. All right, let's move on, though, because we've got to step on it para usar esa expresión otra vez. And it's time for our spelling bee.
Spelling bee. Spelling bee. Spelling bee. Spelling bee. Spelling bee.
That's right, amigos. It is our spelling bee here on the show with no name. Here's round one. The first word is PRINCE space WILLIAM space SOUND. The second one is ALASKA. The third one is EXXON space VALDEZ. The fourth one is OIL space SPILL. The fifth one is 240,000 space BARRELS. And the last one is RUN space AGROUND. I know that was fast. But don't worry, I will be slowing down in round two. Not too much, but enough where you, my students who listen to this program, who I consider most of you intermediate, level at least, right? Just to be able to keep up with me, solo para seguirme el ritmo. Principiantes, bueno, poco a poco, eh? Hey, if you're patient, I know many people who started listening to me and they were at a beginner level and they just kept being patient. They tried not to get frustrated, and eventually you'll start to understand more. That's the way it works. All right, going once, going twice. Here's round 2. The first one is PRINCE space WILLIAM space SOUND. The second one is ALASKA. The third one, EXXON space VALDEZ. The fourth one, OIL space SPILL. The fifth one, 240,000 space BARRELS. And the last one is RUN space AGROUND. Folks, we have got to take our final commercial break. I can't believe it. Wow. Time really flies when you're having fun. Well, when we come back, we're going to take a look at our double trouble. We'll take a look at our Say What soundbite for the 4th time. We've got our spelling bee words. We'll see if anybody can figure that out. Movies, jokes, birthdays. Oh, man, we have got tons of stuff to do. And we've got 26 minutes to do it all. And then the good news, you can stay tuned and continue to learn English with my friend Ali in her program, Speaking with Confidence. All right, folks, we'll be right back with the rest of today's show. So stick around. Welcome back, amigos. Welcome back. This is the 4th and final part of today's show with no name. Thank you so much for joining us. Oh, by the way, BT Dubs. By the way, no shows next week. At least I don't know about the rest of the presenters, teachers, but I know that we have Thursday and Friday off. And I took the rest of the week off. So, yeah, I'll see you guys after Easter week. Nos vemos después de Semana Santa at the new time. Looking forward to that, 6 to 8 p.m. You've got the daily show. So the one that corresponds to that day, 6 to 8 p.m. Then that show will be repeated the following morning from 6:30 to 8:30 a.m. If you tune in via the live stream, the YouTube live stream, it won't affect you. But if you listen on the Vaughn Radio app, you'll notice that there are going to be some changes. Follow us on social media, and you can get all that information. Go to Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X. I'm sure we're on other platforms as well. I don't know if we're on TikTok. Well, either way, whatever social media platform you fancy, take a look around and you can find us. Just search for Grupo Vaughn. And this way you can get information about the changes on Vaughn Radio, special deals, our upcoming events, such as our trivia night, and our meet and greet with the one and only Richard Vaughn. All right, amigos, lots to do, so let's step on it over here. I'm going to give you a challenge now, a challenge we call Double Trouble. Yeah. Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble. All right, amigos, here we go. Did I say double trouble? Oh, no. It's a triple trouble. All right, well, don't worry. It's not that scary either. I do have a tendency to overstate things, exagerar las cosas. I mean, I am from the United States of America, and that's kind of our signature, nuestra firma. Oh, my God, holy cow, it's crazy. The exact opposite of England. You know, in England, you could have, somebody. In fact, I read something about that the other day. English people do not give a standing ovation. You can ask Rob Grams if this is true or not. So at the end of a show, let's say you went to go see a play, una obra de teatro. British people be like, oh, that was quite nice. I rather enjoyed that. It was very nice. Doesn't mean they don't like it, but it's just like, well, I paid my money. They did a good job. I'm not going to stand up. Whereas Americans, if they like it the least bit, they're like, wah! And the whole crowd is standing up on their feet. So it's just a difference in reactions. They understate things. Obviously, I'm generalizing. Everybody's different in every different place. There are all kinds of people. But in general, British people tend to understate something, and we tend to overstate it. So it's not going to be that difficult. Well, we shall see. ¿Oíste ese ruido? Dar la vuelta sería una decisión sensata, ¿no? Dar la vuelta aquí o dar la vuelta ahora mismo sería una decisión sensata. Así llegaremos sanos y salvos. So you got to use the same word 3 times in our triple trouble here. ¿Oíste ese ruido? Dar la vuelta sería una decisión sensata. Así llegaremos sanos y salvos. It's a triple trouble, again, where I need the word 3 times. And you want me to be honest with you? I could have made it a quadruple trouble. I didn't, though. Okay? I decided to be nice. Me he portado bien. So, ¿oíste ese ruido? Dar la vuelta sería una decisión sensata. Así llegaremos sanos y salvos. You have to use the same word 3 times. Also, let me give you today's Say What soundbite. It's a tricky one, especially the one that Goofy. No, not Goofy. Goofy's is pretty easy, and Mickey's is pretty easy. It's Donald's sentence that is really difficult. And again, who understands Donald Duck anyway? But do your best. Do your best. Here it is, your Say What soundbite for the 4th and final time.
Gentlemen, find your favorite chair because I've got the popcorn.
And I've got the cocktail wieners.
Me pregunta el del chiringuito si quiero hacer kitesurf o wakeboard, o si prefiero tomarme un bitter cass antes. Me acaba de decir 5 palabras en inglés. Kite, que significa cometa. Surf, que es obviamente hacer surf, pero también significa oleaje. Wake, que es estela, en este caso la estela del barco. Board es tabla y bitter es amargo. Y justo antes, cuando le pregunté si hablaba inglés, me dijo,
pero patatero.
Sabemos mucho más inglés de lo que creemos. Solo nos falta asimilarlo y situarlo. Aprende a aprender inglés en cualquier lugar con This Book is the Milk y su secuela, This Book is the Milk 2. Te enseñaremos cómo enfocar el inglés, aprovechando todo el inglés que tenemos alrededor y de una manera divertida y adictiva. The Remilk ahora se llama This Book is the Milk 2 y viene con audio y nueva portada. Descúbrelos ya en vaughantienda.com.
That's right, folks. Check out all our amazing materials. Also, if you're interested in courses, remember we've got master's programs, we've got group classes, one-to-one classes, we've got video conference classes, which are ever popular. Son más popular que nunca. Well, it's easier for you. You know, if you have to go into Madrid, you have to park, ya añade la parte de parking media hora. Just add a half an hour right there. Especially in the center of Madrid. It's not easy, okay? So we get it. We get it. In fact, thank you, COVID. Thanks to COVID, people said, wait a second. I can also talk to the teacher in real time from the comfort of my home, you know? And then instead of your English class taking 3 hours, it takes 1. You start the class and you finish and you're done. You can go back to your day, your children, whatever it is that you have to do. Because believe me, I know we got 1,000,001 things going on. Right. So check out our video conference classes. Also, we've got something on the weekends for the kids, which I highly recommend. It's Disney Vaughn English. And hey, we're taking a look at some Disney characters today in our Say What soundbite. All right, there's Chris Valrol taking a stab at it. She's kind of on her own today. K-Roller Girl, she gave us a couple answers, but as I said, they weren't full sentences. We'll forgive her because we love her. Le perdonamos porque la queremos. But again, it's for your own good. Me hacéis sonar como padre aquí. Es para tu propio bien. Oh, my God. All right, let's see. Chris Valrol says, did you hear that sound? Perfecto. She says, turning around would be a safe decision. Bueno, ahí te voy a cambiar la palabra safe por sound. I think that's a sound decision. Are you of sound mind? No, mente sana. I think you say it like this. I am of sound mind and body. And muchas veces cuando juras o tienes que llenar un testamento. I, Alberto Alonso, of sound mind and body. So sound also means, bueno, sonido, ruido, we said. A sound decision means sensato. Sound also means healthy, right? So if you're of sound mind, you're of healthy mind. So did you hear that sound? Turning around would be a sound decision. And then the last part, that way we'll arrive safe and sound. Well, you gave me a double trouble, but I'll take it, Chris. But now you know. That was a sound decision. Sensato. So yeah, we've got de buen estado. Te doy unos ejemplos. He's in sound health for his age, right? Safe and sound, sanos y salvos. A sound idea, a sound decision. That means you sensible, right? You thought about it, right? Also, sound, remember I told you it has another meaning? Also, sound is estrecho. Si hablamos de geografía, speaking about geography, estrecho o canal. In fact, if you've ever been to New York, one of the first places you fly over when you cross the Atlantic and you get into the New York area is the Long Island Sound. No es el sonido de Long Island, sino el estrecho, el canal de Long Island. So the Long Island Sound. And that's going to bring us right into our spelling bee. In fact, the first word in our spelling bee, and great job, Chris. Wow. Chris is taken on, enfrentándose al mundo sola. Prince William Sound. O sea, el estrecho de Prince William. Ahí te da una pista ahí con el cuarto significado en el spelling bee. So that's right. Prince William Sound. Now, where is Prince William Sound? Well, it is a place where there was a pretty bad accident today. All right. And this is what we call an oil spill, un derrame de petróleo. I know you guys in the north of Spain know about this very well, sadly. Okay. So today, in the year 1989, okay, a long time ago, it doesn't feel that way, but yeah, my wife was 5 years old, just to give you an idea. She was born in 84. So she was barely 5 years old. And in Prince William Sound in Alaska, the Exxon Valdez, that was the name of the ship, spilled 240,000 barrels of oil, crude oil, after running aground. So vamos por partes aquí. The Prince William Sound, that's the El Estrecho de Prince William. It's located in Alaska. Eso es número dos. Number 3 was Exxon Valdez. That's the name of the ship. Number 4 was oil spill. Number 5, 240,000 barrels, 240,000 barriles. And the last word was to run aground. And to run aground is when a ship gets stranded on the ground, en tierra. Here it says encallar, varar. So it's similar to stranded, right? But esto es muy específico. No, it ran aground, chocó, right? Con la tierra. It ran aground. Aground siendo una palabra completa. Excellent job, Chris. You nailed them. All right, it's time for Name That Movie. Name that movie. That's right, amigos. It's Name That Movie here on the show with no name. All right, let's get right into it because time is of the essence. We don't have too much time left, but this is a classic movie over here. Let's see if you guys recognize it from the synopsis, from the premise. At an opening party of a colossal San Francisco skyscraper, a massive fire breaks out. Se estalla, due to careless building practices by the contractor. All right, a contractor is the builder. Es otra forma de el constructor. Threatening to destroy the tower and everyone in it. Okay, so por partes, at the opening party, el debut of a colossal, that means very big, San Francisco skyscraper, rascacielos, a massive fire breaks out. Okay, to break out otra vez, estalla, due to careless, descuidado. So if you're careful, you're paying attention. If you're careless, you're not paying attention. So careless building practices by the contractor, threatening to destroy the tower and everyone in it. All right, sound familiar? We've got our fire truck over there. Let's see. Chris is taking a stab at today's Say What soundbite. All right. Not bad, Chris. We're going to give you an applause, even though I know it's hard, but hey, at least you tried. And wieners. Wieners. A ver si está escrito bien. Wieners se escribe con una N. Okay. Con una N, la palabra wieners. But good. Okay, well, you got the important thing. Even though you didn't get it word for word, you got the gist of it. O sea, la primera vez que lo viste, van a ver una película y se están... So, you know, if you had to report that information back to someone else, you got the information, right? So, all right, let's see. Chris says it's The Towering Inferno. Absolutely. En español, El Coloso en Llamas. Oh, I didn't know that. El Coloso en Llamas. Let's see. K Roller Girl says, Make and Do Best Lesson, The Verb Circus by Kyle Miller. K-Roller Girl. Eso es inglés, tía. Don't make me be the parent. Let me be the teacher. Déjame hacer de profesor. Pero, claro, si te vas a molestar en escribirlo, hay que ponerlo. And I know you know how to do it. So make and do is the best lesson. It's from the verb circus, but no sé lo que, es que no sé lo que quieres decir. So, okay, I know what you're saying. Make and do, best lesson, the verb circus by Kyle Miller. So the best lesson in the verb circus is make and do. Is that what you want to say? I don't know. Let's put it this way. I am a parent, but I already have a kid, and I've never been a mind reader. I'm not good at that stuff. All right. So, El Coloso en Llamas. I didn't know the name in Spanish. All right. Well, this is a movie that came out in 1974. I was not even born yet. And it's a movie starring Paul Newman and Steve McQueen. Let's take a look at the scene that I've chosen here for you. Doug Roberts says, I thought we were building something that, well, where people could work and live and be safe. If you had to cut costs, si tuviste que recortar, why didn't you cut floors instead of corners? Hemos visto esta expresión. Hacer recortes, pero a lo cheap, ¿no? Que es obvio que lo has hecho, que ya estás poniendo en peligro tu imagen o el propio producto que estás dando. So everybody tries to cut costs. To cut corners is haciéndolo como en plan atajo. Okay? So he goes, why didn't you cut floors, plantas, instead of corners? Buena frase. And James Duncan says, now listen, any decisions that were made for the use of alternate building materials, alternativas, were made because I, as a builder, have a right, derecho, to make those decisions. If I remain within the building code, God damn it, and I did. The building code es, lo que requiere el Estado. Si vas a hacer una tal de tantos, right? El Código de Acceso, Normativa General de Urbanismo y Construcciones. Ahí lo tienes. We call it the building code. And then Doug chuckles. He chuckles and he says, building code? Jesus, building code? Come on, Dunk. I mean, that's a standard cop-out. A cop-out es una excusa. When you're in trouble. I was crawling around up there. Estaba gateando. I was crawling around up there. I mean, duct holes, a duct es como un conducto, ¿no? Ventilación, weren't fire stopped. Corridors son pasillos, without fire doors. Sprinklers that don't work. And an electrical system that's good for what? And the sprinklers are what happens if you have a fire. Aspersor, rociador. Hey, look at that. I didn't know that. Rociador. We looked at the word rocio before. Do. All right, folks, it's time to move on, though, because we only have a few minutes left, and we've got a birthday party to attend. So let's go on over to famous birthday trivia.
Birthdays for me. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name. Birthdays for him. Famous birthdays for her. Birthdays for everyone on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It's famous birthdays here on the show with no name. Let's see what we've got. Number one, this actor was born today in 1930. He always played an anti-hero, antihéroe. He was also big during the 1960s. They nicknamed him the King of Cool. That's right, the King of Cool. He was in many, many movies throughout his time. The Great Escape, The Thomas Crown Affair, The Getaway, The Magnificent Seven, and today's Name That Movie, The Towering Inferno. Ah, mira. So I just said his name. That's right. Number 2, this American animator, director, and producer co-founded the company Hannah. So you might know the cartoons he produced: The Flintstones, Yogi Bear, Hey Boo Boo, Scooby-Doo. Ah, ¿viste por qué dije Scooby-Doo antes? Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? The Smurfs as well. The Jetsons, La Familia del Futuro. So this is the other guy in the word Hannah. I mean, we grew up with this. This was more popular than Disney, at least when I was a kid. And speaking of Disney, this was the guy behind the guy. Yeah, this is not Walt Disney, but without this guy, Walt Disney wouldn't have created Mickey Mouse or Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. In fact, this guy was, let's say, without him, Disney wouldn't be the characters we know today, especially Mickey, the most successful one, would have never been released because this guy, well, he worked very closely with Walt Disney and he was his right-hand man. And some would say he was even more creative than Walt Disney. All right, let's take a look. We've got a winner. It's Chris Varrol. Number 1, Steve McQueen. Number 2, Joseph Barbera. That's right, from Hanna-Barbera cartoons. And last but not least, vaya nombre, iWorks. Si queréis ver a un tío interesante, búscate la historia de iWorks, que hubiese cumplido años hoy. Again, without him, we wouldn't be talking about Mickey Mouse. I know Walt gets all the credit, but that's how life works sometimes. But the people who really know that this guy, man, he was as essential to the creation of some of those early characters as Walt himself, if not more. All right, and that's going to bring us over to our Say What soundbite. This is from a Mickey Mouse cartoon created by Disney, Walt Disney, and iWorks. And Mickey says, "Gentlemen, find your favorite chair. Find your favorite chair. Encuentra tu asiento o sillón favorito." And as Chris said, they're going to watch a movie. And then Donald Duck says, "Because I've got the popcorn. Because I've got the popcorn. Porque yo tengo las palomitas." Oh, no. Mickey says that. "Because I've got the popcorn." Then the tricky line, "I've got the bubbly drinks." O sea, los refrescos. "I've got the bubbly, con burbujas. I've got the bubbly drinks," is Donald Duck. And then Goofy says, "And I've got the cocktail wieners." And cocktail wieners son las salchichitas pequeñas que ves en las fiestas, ¿no? Que no es que te come, these little, they're called cocktail wieners, que son salchichas pequeñitas. All right, here it is, Mickey Mouse and his pals.
Gentlemen, find your favorite chair because I've got the popcorn.
And I've got the cocktail wieners.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure. And we're going to say goodbye with Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? Thank you so much, everybody. Ciao for now. Where are you? We got some work to do now. Sing it. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you?